Today, guys, we're going to do something a little bit different, or I guess you could say we're trying something a bit different. We're going to be reacting to another YouTuber's video here in 2BC production, or Johnny Superbman. He's one of the NHL YouTubing legends, I guess you could say, one of the OGs. He's been uploading for over 13 years, I believe. I've been watching him for at least 10 of those. Love his content. Think he makes some of the best content in the NHL community. Very entertaining guy. Anyways, he did a reaction to the NHL 26 gameplay deep dive. He had a lot of interesting takes. I think a lot of them fair. He comes off a lot more skeptical, so that's what I want to talk about. And I just wanted to raise some awareness because I think he is pretty valid on a lot of his takes. So I want to highlight some of his takes for my viewers of the skepticism that you might want to have for NHL 26. So we'll see, are his takes valid? Do I disagree with some of them? We're going to watch the video and see.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to our annual edition of getting hyped for the next NHL game to be utterly disappointed day number 1. Oh, I don't even want to do this, but the fans want it, so let's go. Let me just start by saying I do not think it's going to be a good game. I'll try to be as unbiased as I can, but I have this thing called memory, and do you guys remember?
I want to try not to pause like too much, but I just want to say I do agree with that, being skeptical. I honestly thought NHL 26 wasn't going to be very good either. Don't know why. I just kind of had that feeling. With no GM connected, I didn't really know what they were going to do. So just throw that out
last
there.
Year when they had us all believing in Ice Cube. Remember this little nugget?
Today, we're going to take a look at Ice Cube, Shell's new logic-driven gameplay system.
Shell's new logic-driven gameplay system. Yeah, NHL 25's gameplay was driven by logic. Sure. Konechny, take it away, buddy. Go, Konechny! Speed, baby! Travis Konechny in preseason. I've seen it all, EA.
Funny thing about this clip is I'm pretty sure it was in NHL 25. I had the exact same thing happen, but in a shootout with Quinn Hughes where he just skated it right into the boards. AI has definitely been a thing that needs to be improved. I think it would add a lot in terms of making the game more difficult for players who are better and just all around better. Obviously, it's one of the most hard things to have right, but it's a fair point. The AI has not been very good. 2 years ago,
they had us believing in that crap full pressure system. This single game mechanic was the main reason I haven't played EASHL in like 2 years. It's so bad. Yeah, EA Sports, this is a fantastic new addition to the game. I don't see how this would be exploited at all. Esports level consistency and predictability. And let me just stay out here. Let me pass it back to you. Let me go this way, and let me go back that way. Let me go back in. Let me just go to you. Let me go in, back in. And the goalie's tired now, so he's going to do some wacky shit in the net, too. And it's a goal. NHL 20.
Yeah, when the pressure system came out, it seemed good in theory. Maybe it would result in a lot more cycling, more realistic hockey. What it ended up actually being was just something that could be exploited, could just go around the offensive zone and just wait until the other team was tired out, and the goalie would also get tired out and start doing some really dumb stuff. So it just was not implemented really well. To be fair to EA, they have fixed it since then. It's not as bad. I haven't played as much online like competitively, so I haven't had as big of a problem with it. In fact, I would say it kind of encourages better forechecking, better shots, things like that. I believe it takes 2 or 3 shots, like quality shots, before you actually get that pressure now, which I think is more fair. And I personally don't mind where it is at now, but yeah, when it came in, it was very, very bad.
23, they flat out misled everyone with first-person gameplay. Is it cool? Yeah. Does it exist? Hell no. And also, on a side note,
the first person is an interesting thing. I personally didn't expect it from these trailers. It's all just marketing. They even say at the beginning of them, like, you know, this isn't real footage sometimes, whatever it is. So I personally didn't think that, but I could understand why some people did, and he makes a good point right here too.
15,000 viewers for an NHL stream? EA Sports, you are straight up delusional
no one's
when it comes to your game.
Views
they also put a curse on Trevor Zegras. Good luck in Philly, buddy. Matvei Michkov and Trevor Zegras going to be fighting for Michigan's every game. Tortorella, thank God you got out of there.
It's ridiculous.
NHL 22, they introduced the X Factors, which actually was a positive. The problem came from the implementation, typical of EA Sports, right? The majority of the X Factors are useless. The good ones ones everyone uses in EA SHL, and the real good ones, the overpowered ones, are straight up banned. EA, imagine making X Factors and then not allowing the players to use them in your own game modes. Wheels. Bye.
I think that highlights a very valid problem that we've had with EA is they seem more worried about getting the features out there for the release of the game so that they can list it to try and incentivize you to pre-order or buy the game, less worried about how it actually plays because, of course, people won't know how it plays until they've already bought the game. And even when it comes to bug fixes and fixing things like that, they're typically pretty slow. And sometimes in the case with the timed 1Ts, it seems like they took an entire year to balance it out a little bit better with people not scoring every single 1T. But yeah, I think it was a good feature as well. It does add more variety, make your superstars a little bit better, but it is a very gamey, arcadey type thing, less, I guess you could say, in the direction of realism. So it did create situations where you have your OPX factors, you have your ones that suck. I don't know if they could necessarily get around this. I feel like this is just something that happens in video games. You're always going to have your scaling, your S tier stuff, your F tier stuff, but it's kind of weird, like he says, having them remove certain X factors in certain modes. It comes off really weird, but I also do understand why they did it. It does really show that they need to go back to the drawing board, which they did, and we'll have to see how that plays out.
Byram just doing loops around everybody on the ice. Because Bo and Byram's got wheels.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's clearly
just
cheese.
goofy.
They don't even allow it in EASHL.
To be fair,
because no one can stop Bo and Byram.
To be fair, you would have to admit that the player he's playing against there is definitely not very good. As much as Wheels is OP, if you're a good defensive player, I'm sure you can deal with it. The problem comes when you're versing another top tier player, and then they can really just abuse it. But in this situation, I would say that's probably just him versing a not very good player.
Wheels has got to be the cheesiest damn X Factor I've ever
cheesy,
bye.
And that is a
We go
rage
all
quits.
the way back to NHL 21. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to dodge this one. So everyone sees what I'm talking about, right? 5 years of NHL trade.
And then there it is, the thing they always like to put, not all images appear in game. This is something that I noticed, but I didn't really think about. I don't recall there being anything like really crazy in the trailer, so I wonder what this is referring to. Maybe in this video we can figure that out. I don't know, but we'll see.
5 years of NHL duds, at least in my opinion. I won't speak for all of you. Now, I am hoping that NHL 26 is fun to play. I want to get back playing ESHL with the boys. So here we go. NHL 26, 5 minutes, a gameplay deep dive. I'm going to be pausing this and commenting on anything that I don't agree with. I'm going to be pointing things out. So it might be obnoxious, but ladies and gentlemen, here we go. All right. Oh my god, not all images appearing. We're off to a great start. Calm down, focus. Yes.
I've always loved Chell.
Me too.
I'm beyond stoked to introduce what's new in-game this year.
Okay, what's new in-game this year? First thing I see is a wild-ass stack in the pad save by, Aiden Hill on Mikko Rantanen on the back. Damn, all right, new goalie animations. I'll take that.
I will
Oh,
too.
they're already
I like
asking
that.
for a pre-order already?
Yes,
EA
they are.
Sports, you know what? I can appreciate that, but last year, the year before that, your game wasn't ready to go day number 1. Remember the bugs and glitches? I'd score a hat trick and be a pro. Glitched out. My GM mode, you click on the wrong thing. Glitched out. Freaking coach mode wasn't ready to go until like November. Pre-order? Really? All right.
I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Pre-order, making money, getting sales. It is kind of almost shameless just how hard they push it. You know this if you still play like NHL 25. I think every time you log in now, it's like pre-order NHL 26. Like they're very shameless about it. Even in a lot of the other sports games, you see it. Or you log into the game, you got a brand new game, you just opened it up, and they hit you with like a pop-up saying, "Hey, go to Hut and spend money, please." So yeah, they're very shameless about
Here
it.
we go.
Evolution of Ice Cube.
But that's the
In
business,
Ice
I guess.
2.0, which is now powered by NHL.
Oh, here we go. The buzzwords are out. Ice Cube and NHL.
Superstars think, move, and play more like themselves.
Okay, I like that. They're trying to make the players think, move, and play more like their real-life counterparts. I've been calling this for over 10 years, right? Make Crosby play like Crosby. Okay.
Take us through the details,
Me too,
let's
me
pass
too.
it off to
I don't
Mike
mind
Engelhart
this.
And David Pritchett.
How are you guys
Thanks,
doing
Greg.
this?
This year, we're building on Ice Cube's defining vision of true hockey and
Did they just have Mitch Marner
Yes,
doing Ice
they
Cube
did.
and scoring on the backhand against the Toronto Maple Leafs? That sure as shit is a regular season goal.
Intelligence by incorporating the data-driven innovation of NHL Edge, which powers how superstars play in NHL 26.
What the hell am I looking
NHL's
at?
groundbreaking puck and
Okay, so far, a lot of words, a lot of like bells and whistles, shiny stuff. This sounds good, but how does this affect gameplay, like AI?
player tracking technology uses 14
I understand his skepticism with all the buzzwords and things like that. To be honest, that's something I've kind of fallen for in the past, where I hear all these buzzwords, I hear all these things, and it looks good in the trailer when it's edited for how they want. They can kind of push the narrative of, hey, this actually is a good feature, but then you get the gameplay and you're like, where is it? And you're like, oh, it happens one every 30 times or whatever, or it was just kind of misleading. And that's kind of what they do. So you do have to be skeptical.
infrared cameras
Yeah.
placed inside all 32 team arenas to capture data
that's-
from sensors embedded in every puck and tags sewn into players' sweaters.
But again, that's not in your game. That's what the NHL does. How are you using this information to make your game better?
In NHL 26, IceQ 2.0 uses that treasure trove of NHL Edge player data to impact how players perform in game. For
How?
example, we've reviewed Ovi's historic trends and performance data and used that to update his character's attributes and tendencies, so his skills are aligned with his real-life self. And AI
Oh,
Ovi
bullshit.
will naturally position himself in his patented power play spot
Bullshit.
at the appropriate time.
Bullshit. No, we're going back. Firstly, when was Ovi drafted, the greatest goal scorer in the history of the NHL, like 05 or 04? You're telling me EA Sports took over 20 years to figure out to put Alex Ovechkin on the
Yep.
top of the circle and take one-timers in their game? Well, better late than never. But hang on a second.
Very fair, very
Let me
fair.
see that instant replay again of the gameplay. The problem with this is in the previous games, the power play formations would be crap because there would never be an open one-timer. The penalty kill would be so aggressive while the power play never gets open.
Attributes and tendencies.
So hang
his
on.
skills are aligned.
So again, to speak on this, things he says about the power play formations, I can't really speak on all that much. It's not something I necessarily paid all that attention to. I could understand how he's someone who probably looks at that a lot deeper than I normally do when I'm playing. And also, again, just fully understand his skepticism with this. It makes me wonder, like, they talk about these attributes, all this stuff based off this data. What happens when there's an update? Are they going to go away from the attributes? Usually they change their attributes based off how well players are playing, but now it seems like they're more focused on what the statistics say. So I'm interested to see how long this data stays accurate and how long it takes before things start kind of drifting away. Also, just to point out, in HUT, it's like these things obviously won't really matter because the stats are different. And as the season goes on, obviously, eventually you just have a bunch of 99 overalls. So you really have to think of, like, where is this going to be in effect? And think of things like franchise mode. Players are going to develop and they're going to, drift away from these things. So on paper, I think this really does make the, like, kind of play now gameplay better. It makes it more accurate, but I don't know how much it does for the other game modes.
With his real-life self, and AI Ovi will naturally position himself in his patented power play spot at the appropriate
This is another
time.
thing he's going to talk about.
AI Ovi will naturally position himself. What if you put him as a center? What if you put him as a right winger? He'll just naturally go over there? So you're saying that there's in-game tendencies where the player will just do his own thing? Hold on a second, everyone. We got some inception going on. I want to prove my point. These the most recent roster updates. They have Alex Ovechkin playing the left defensive position, right?
Hello,
but if I were
Norway.
to go best lines, all of a sudden Ovi is in the slot. So if you're playing Be a Pro, if you're playing GM mode, if you're playing anything but versus and the AI line changes, Ovi is no longer at the top of the circle. Are you telling me he'll go over there? Because I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
This is one that I don't even know. Like, is that what you want? You put Ovi in, let's say, the slot. You want him playing there, and then he just drifts over to his side because that's, the preferences they gave him. I would say that's kind of bad because that's not how you are utilizing him. Obviously, if you stick him on that left side, it's pretty natural to think, oh, you want him taking his 1Ts, which is probably what you should be doing. But if you stick him on the right side playing a different role and he starts drifting towards the left side of the ice, that would just throw the entire formation out of whack. So it is a curious thing. I feel like it probably only takes effect when they are like near that part of the ice. Maybe it's like kind of like a magnet that pulls them over and they start drifting that way. But I am skeptical of how these tendencies work. It sounds very, very good on paper. It sounds awesome, but it could very easily go wrong if it's implemented wrong, which is something, again, we've seen EA do. So I am also pretty skeptical
And also,
about this.
look at this instant replay. How is Ovi this open, man?
So his skills are aligned.
Oh
with
my
his
God, they
real-life
did
self.
it. I knew it. I knew it. See, the thing about these gameplay trailers, how much is it user controlled? How much is it on rookie mode? Never in my life have I ever seen a power play where there's a player that open. And if you go back,
Just to speak on this before he goes into it, because he kind of goes into this a lot. This is where I kind of disagree a little bit. Like, I understand what he's saying with like the rookie difficulty and the guys being in different positions. Obviously, if you change the difficulty, they play different. They use rookie difficulty or whatever difficulty they want to just best showcase these new features. As someone who's played, I think if you cycle the puck the right way, you can get guys like OV open on the 1T. Maybe it doesn't happen all that often, but I feel like this is a little bit like tinfoil hat in a way. Like, it's a little bit much, but he really goes into it and you can form your own
look at this. Hang on.
decisions,
Take a look at that
opinions about
Montreal
it.
Canadian player in 53. He's not even moving. He's not even moving right there. Look, he's stationary. He's not even moving. That is a human-controlled player that they quickly
So his
switch
skills are
off
aligned with his real
to
life
make it seem like it's a computer. No, there's no way. That is a fit. That's fake.
And AI
That
Ovi
is fake.
can
There's no
naturally
way.
position himself
Like, I don't personally think this is fake, and even if they did like fake it or make it easier for themselves to pull it off, I think you could pull this off on Superstar, whatever difficulty you want. They're on the power play. I don't think it's that crazy to have a guy who's a bit more wide open. So that's just what I think.
Don't believe it.
patented power play spot.
Don't believe it. Let's move on. I don't want to stay.
I mean, even if you just look at the defensive formation here, like, it looks like we kind of have, it's a bit of a mess, but you could say guy on guy. I don't know who this is, but they are kind of lacking on their guy. You could say Suzuki's kind of taking this guy here. Maybe he should be more aggressive, pick off the pass. Maybe you can make the argument that they did control Suzuki here. Again, I just don't understand why they would do it unless they were really just struggling to hit this clip. And I would just say that's kind of a skill issue. But I don't find any of this too crazy.
It's fake.
And AI
That
Ovi
is fake.
can
There's no
naturally
way.
position himself
I don't
in his
believe it.
patented power play spot.
Don't believe it. Let's move on. I don't want to stay here forever.
That means AI
Quinn
players start to
Hughes?
think, move, and play like your favorite star.
Quinn Hughes just takes a bomb from out there. He's a fast-moving defenseman. Skate in, take a wrist shot. But
This is one that I fully agree on, that I completely didn't even catch when I watched this first time around. This is awful. Like, I think I assumed that this was a controlled player and they took the shot from here, but I think this is AI. I'm not actually sure what's going on here. It looks like they positioned locked as Pedersen to show off what the AI does. There is no way in hell that Quinn Hughes should be taking this shot. Look at just how much space he has. 100% if we're talking about tendencies and just realistic AI and things like that. He's 100% at least skating up a little bit and taking that shot.
because there's
Instead,
a 16.7% mid-range shooting percentage,
Instead-
it's going to tell him to shoot.
he just stands still and takes a slapper, which he's a bit more of a wrist shot guy as well. So
From right there.
not a big fan of what I've seen there.
Okay.
Play like your favorite stars.
Goaltender Connor Hellebuck.
Attributes
Okay.
are one of the main pillars of how Ice
Oh my God, rookie defense. Yeah, just
incorporates
eking to the
NHL
inside.
data,
Oh my God. And also look at that.
incorporates
Look at the puck hitting the net physics.
This is another big one. They supposedly made the mesh physics a whole lot better, but you can literally just see it right here in the trailer. Like, the puck basically goes in and it like rolls around like it's a solid physic. I don't know. I didn't word that correctly, but obviously it's kind of hit the net and bounce off. You know how the mesh works.
data.
Oh
But
my God.
yeah,
And
that
also
did
look
not
at
look
that.
very good.
Look at the puck hitting the net physics. It's so garbage, man. Have the puck
Yeah,
hitting the net
that's-
look a lot better.
Into the
That
game.
looks very bad.
It's used to
Oh
inform
my God, I'm done. It's rookie mode. It's rookie mode. This is not gameplay, guys. This is not real gameplay. They're just showing off, what's it called? The Ice Cube. So this is Lane Hudson, right? So one of the things about the AI in previous games, they don't do poke checks, they don't do stick lifts. They all go for body checks. But if you scale back the difficulty to rookie, they don't throw body checks. So what do? They just stand on front of you. Look at Lane Hudson here. Look, and poke him. Do a poke check animation. Do a stick lift. Try. I'm just going to stand there doing ridiculous. What?
This is, again, another one. He seems very, like, heated about this. Very, like, again, kind of tinfoil hat about it. I don't think it's as big of a deal. If anything, I would say it actually makes their game look worse just because the effort here by Zuccarello at the point is awful. So I would say it's actually to their detriment to use rookie mode, as it just makes the defense look bad. But obviously, if they're trying to focus on the offensive player here, it might be better to turn this difficulty down to rookie just to easier hit whatever clip they're trying to hit with him. But I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world.
Forward's defensive edge that allows him to poke the puck off the ridiculous.
Like skating acceleration.
Ridiculous. What?
Top speed.
Oh my
slap
God.
shot power.
Oh my God.
And wrist shot power.
Oh my God. It only took them to NHL 26 to get Austin Matthews shooting the puck harder than Anthony effing Beauville.
This one's a bit interesting. Like, I get what he's trying to say about the shooting speed, and he goes on about the skating speed and all that stuff. Before, I would say it was more of a guesstimate. The thing that's really kind of cool here is it's actually statistic based. And if you just look at the difference in shot here, like, that's a big difference. I don't think you were quite getting that before. So I think it'll make a lot of the shots more accurate. You know, even if you have a guy who has a really good shot, but maybe he's slow or something like that, he kind of sticks out more. If they really got all the stats for all the players, I think this is pretty cool. I think it's a good change. But I could see how he's kind of like confused about it. So that tells us that in the past,
everyone was shooting the puck with the same velocity. Fantastic.
That's obviously not true. If you just play around with shooting speed, obviously you can make it go a lot faster. I would say this is more so just getting it more accurate.
Superstars, true to life differentiation.
Oh my
God. So when
God.
you play with or against Connor McDavid, his acceleration
Wheels
and speed are aligned with the stats in the real world. A difference.
McDavid, drafted in 2016, 10 years later. Yeah, you know what? You know what's interesting about this as well? Let me just reverse it. Do you think that if McDavid picked that up with the AI, they'd have the knowledge to actually hustle and get through? Because
to that, I would say it's kind of a 50-50. They wouldn't hustle as hard as a user-controlled player knows how to do or take it as well. Again, this is something that's still growing. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully it's better in NHL 26, but I personally would not bet on the AI to do anything like even like slightly smart.
How many times have I seen the AI not hustle at all and lose a potential 2-on-1 or breakaway? A human player knows how to do it. I don't believe it, man. Don't believe them for 1
believe that's still
second.
going to be a problem.
Yeah, sure.
What makes a superstar
What do we
stand
got
out
here?
is their individual tendencies on the ice.
Oh, shut
highlighting
up.
their signature moves.
Shut up, game! They're lying! They're straight up lying to you now. Macklin Celebrini. I got to show you guys this, man. So Macklin Celebrini, tendency. So I guess his tendency is to be a dangler, right? Deke into the inside. That is some bullshit. Let me tell you why. I've done a lot of GM modes. I've watched the AI face the AI. That's what they do. That's what they all do. After they cross the blue line, they deke to the middle. And the only reason this deke worked in this video is because the defender was being controlled by a human who did a flyby poke check. If this was AI versus AI, Celebrini would do that deke right into the defender, and he would just pick it up and move it away. Lies. They're lying.
This is another kind of interesting situation. Again, I kind of get what he's saying. He's going to have more experience with watching the AI play than I do. I have seen them do this deke quite a bit. I don't know why. They just seem to really like this deke. It feels like what they're trying to say here is a guy like Macklin Celebrini should have a higher tendency now to do dekes like that than the rest of the AI, and perhaps even pull them off better. I get the skepticism with them controlling the AI. I think it's still cool to get, you know, dangled here or there by an AI player. That's not something I can really say I've had done to me. I don't think. I probably would have laid out the body. I would have killed him. But anyways, again, I think he's kind of looking into it a little bit hard. But again, if Macklin Celebrini pulls this off against the AI, is he kind of right where the AI probably gets him? Maybe, but again, it depends on who's defending him, things like that. So I kind of agree
This is not enough.
on what he's talking about there.
What the hell? Was that a... How is a 5-on-3? That pass wide open. Yeah, ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Again, I'll just mention it. He says it a few times. Maybe we're past it now, but things like this, they can happen, even if they throw into rookie mode just to, you know, get the clip, whatever. If you're a good player, even if it's a lot more rare, 1 in 100 offensive chances, you can find those seams, you can make those passes, those 1Ts. And I think it's cool now that like Drysdale, you know, he does this little animation and whatnot, but
shots on goal.
yeah, I don't know. I think he's looking a little bit too hard into it.
Brings her on.
McKinnon's love for laying out the body. Well, in the previous game, if you put the difficulty to superstar, they all throw the body. It's not just Nathan McKinnon. You could have a guy with 65 body checking. He'll still lay somebody out.
That's kind of a fair criticism. I would have to kind of go in and like really look at the AI, but they do seem to have a preference for laying out the body. Again, you would kind of hope here that with tendencies and these changes to the stats that it's a bit more realistic. Like, you know, Quinn Hughes isn't going to be laying out the body as much as a guy like Hedman, most likely, right? So these are things that you hope they take small steps in. But again, I do get the criticism with the AI kind of having that preference. I think maybe that's one of the things that makes it a bit easier for me as a player. Even in Superstar, I don't find it very challenging. So if the AI was a bit better defensively, maybe they did better pokes, better stick lifts, stuff like that. It would be better positioning, things like that. So I don't disagree with this take.
So far,
Don't believe it.
We have 22 unique tendencies spanning both offensive and defensive
tendencies,
impacts that have been
stick check.
crafted to make those
So they're
in-game
X
NHL
factors,
players
then.
perform in lifelike fashion.
So wait, if I create a player, is it just the X factors that, like if I put 1T on somebody, they just look to set up the 1T somewhere? Or is there an actual tendency screen where you can tell like a perimeter player, so you sit up over here, you look for backhands more than...
One of the big
Okay.
components of
That's an interesting question. With these tendencies, will we be able to throw on tendencies onto a creative player? Will we be able to just change around tendencies? I don't know. It could go either way. I think NBA 2K, I want to say, has things kind of like that. Like they have shooting forms, things like that. You could argue that's a little bit different. Obviously, we kind of have like the skating form / shooting style. This to me feels more like, at least with like the dry style 1T, more of an animation thing. Maybe it slightly changes the placement of the shot. I guess, okay, yeah, the other two tendencies I was trying to think of was the Ovechkin 1T and the McKinnon hit. Those ones seem a lot more impactful for the AI. Like you literally have Ovi gravitating towards a spot versus Drysdale, who I guess you could say gravitates towards his spot. Yeah, I honestly have no clue how it's going to work. It's kind of going to have to be something that we see about. I do hope that they let you put it on creative players and all the different players in the league and customize that. But honestly, I would put it as a coin flip if they actually do so.
2.0 is how it presents in game. You can feel it as you play, but it really comes alive with new
Oh,
animations
shitty instant
and visualized
replays.
breakdowns.
Shitty instant
Expanded
replays. Yeah, they replaced the old X factors now with just these slow ass.
I don't really know like what he was kind of thinking here. I guess he was thinking, like he said, that they got rid of the X factors and changed it with this kind of hot and cold system and the tendencies. But obviously we know that this is a completely different system. I don't know what his beef with the replays is. I don't know. Yeah, even like the first time I watched this, I didn't quite understand what he meant about the replays. But I guess it might just be more of like curating this to look a certain way, which I guess I kind of get.
Like we care about these stats on the left side,
player
man.
sites highlight every
Like Kim saying we care about these stats like sarcastically, like I think it's cool. Like if this has, which I think it does, a statistical change, he might have just thought that it was kind of just a thing for show, or maybe he's skeptical as to whether or not these things will really matter. If they have that attribute change, then no matter what, it's going to have at least like a small impact. So again, I don't really
How
understand
slow
what
the
he's
instant
getting at
replays
here.
are.
shot speed,
So bad.
shooting percentage, and threat analysis.
Maybe what he's trying to say is that these are the actual game replays of goals, and they're just, he's talking about how slow they are. So maybe that's
on
what he was
goals.
getting at there.
New broadcast graphics showcase player
But that might just be instant replay mode, so I don't really know.
comparison.
Oh yeah, right. Remember when they put the face-off percentages on the ice and they give you the bird's eye camera? I guess that was a mistake, right? EA, you take it out. Oh, it's a new update. It's a new feature.
Again, I feel like he's kind of misunderstanding what this is, but I do get what he's saying. I don't know if that graphic is still going to be in the game, the bird's eye view one that showed the face-off percentages and that type of stuff. In general, the statistics in this game for even like what it didn't really matter what mode you played. They were always such a mess. They were displaying incorrectly. It was just garbage. Now having like these real life tracked stats, at least it kind of gives you intel, like Byfield most likely, or at least should, based off this ice cube in real life, win this face-off more often, and he's going to have higher face-off rating, which means he is a bit more likely to win it over this Buffalo player. So at least it seems a lot more real than just a stat.
Yeah, sure.
Multi-story replays will now highlight important sequential game narratives.
Multi-story replays. Fighting animations look exactly the same.
Again, with the playtest, I don't think you're really allowed to talk about it. If you wanted to gather from this video what they were, I think you kind of could with these multi-story replays. It basically means instead of just showing the initial goal, showing the initial goal, they actually show, you know, the rush leading up to the goal, an interception, things like that, like just the things that led up to the goal, more like what you would see in real life on a replay. So I think that's cool. It's a good change.
Multi-story replays, what does that mean?
We've also created new cameras to capture those big moments and give...
Oh, you see that? You see what I'm talking about? Watch this. So Clark, right? Brent Clark, right-handed from the LA Kings. He takes the shot. Look at this player right here. What's he going to do next? He's stepping up to do a body check. You can see his hands. They're already starting to move. Everything's a body check. Finishing body checks, man. The AI. Oh, ridiculous.
The all-new goalie crease.
Again, we've talked about it a lot, but I do understand the frustration with the superstar AI really gravitating towards hit. It kind of confuses me because he was like talking about how it looked like they were just using rookie mode. But I guess in that clip, he thinks they went back to superstar. I wouldn't really understand that just because they were just trying to get a shot from the point. So I don't even know. That probably was taken in rookie mode. Again, you don't really know. You'll never know. But do I think it really like matters or says that much? Not really.
Goalie
That's just
crease
my
control
opinion on it.
system.
Awareness between
Okay.
posts, thanks to 81 new animations, close
81.
range saves, post
Woo!
checks, as well as upgraded AI positioning that gives goalies increased control over the blue paint.
Okay,
Previously,
goalie
extended
animations.
animation sequences saw goalies lock into positions as the action moved on.
So I'll just say this in preparation. He's about to go on a tangent about this, and I 100% agree. I understand from a marketing standpoint, you know, showing how things were before and how they are now, just to show like, oh, how much better it is and whatnot. And the new goalie stuff seems really cool. I do like it, but like, this is hot garbage, you know? There's no way they looked at this and said, yeah, this is good. Like, they just sent it out the door, and that's kind of the problem. That's what they kind of do. They're like, oh, we'll fix it in next game, sell it as a new feature, things like that. And that's what really frustrates, you know, Superb Man and me. I think it's stupid that they do stuff like this. And I think it is a little bit ridiculous to be comparing to your last game and right shitting on your last game, being like, oh, look how bad it is. And then look how good it is now. Like, I do get where he's about it.
Oh my God.
From.
Oh my God. We are living in some weird ass alternate reality. EA Sports is now shitting on previous games as a way to promote the new games. Remember when we put that shitty full pressure system in 24 and 25? And remember how as a goalie you were flopping around on the ice because you had no stamina? Yeah, what a piece of shit game mode. We put it in there, but hey, we took it out now.
It's fair. That's a fair complaint.
To respond fluidly.
Woo,
to
good
changes
save.
in
Post
That is a
to
nice
post.
save.
with split-second reflexive responses that really add excitement to high-pressure moments.
That blocker save is so it's just goalie animate, new goalie animation. So
He says new goalie animations. I actually would take it much farther than just new animations. It seems like just the way they move around the crease seems a lot different. Like, it seems like full-on AI. And it seems like, at least from what I've seen, I haven't really experimented with the current X factors for goalies, but they haven't seemed all that impactful. But right now, like, you saw that post-to-post save by Shesterkin, like, that could be a goal save, you know, in your hut mode, right? So if this means goalies finally matter in a game like Hut, you pull a goalie, you can be hyped. I would be so happy about that. For far too long, goalies have been such a joke. It's just like, get yourself a tall goalie, throw them in net, whatever. And if this finally means, like, you know, you can care about X factors, things like that, that would be so great. Franchise mode is a bit different. Simulation works differently. Again, another thing I want to see is goalies matter.
where the puck's gonna
mattering
go.
more in the
Once with
franchise
past
mode
them,
sim.
New goalie reactions let you feel their emotion when the
You know what? I do want
And that kind of further proves, like, Vechmelka, probably not a very good goalie, probably like an 82 overall, letting in a goal like that. If this means Goalies finally matter. I'm so down
I
for
see
it.
some goals
I'm
where they
so
hit the
down for
goalies and
it.
they still go in. You know, I want the puck to be loose. I don't want it to be RNG where the goalie just Spider-Man goalies and saves it, or it's like, no, this one is a green one-timer, so it has to go in.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
The increased control system provides an increased level of realism and effectiveness to the netminders that we know players have been waiting for.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No, 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 no. I spotted it. Did anyone see that? Did anyone see Spider-Man goalies? I just said it. Hang on a second. Hang on. This is why you guys, this is why I do it. Quality. Where's playback speed? There it is. Hang on. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Spider-Man goalies, right? How did he get his blocker on that? It was a deflection. So Essa Lindell shoots that puck, right? Watch this. No, bullshit. Bullshit! I see it right there. Spider-Man goalies. Spider-Man goalies. Let me see this again. Watch. Watch. The shot is going up towards his right shoulder, right? It's going up there. He's going to catch it up at his shoulder. Deflection below the hash marks in the slot. That is it. That is so close to the goalie. And the goalie, look at that. Puck's going down now. And the goalie adjusts. And the second that the puck changes its trajectory, the goalie sees it. Spider-Man goalies. He's set before the deflection. No, garbage.
So to speak on that, I kind of agree with him. At the same time, I do kind of give a little bit of the benefit of doubt to EA and just game developers in general. It's pretty hard to have a game that doesn't have, some weird looking things, some bugs, some glitches, things like that, especially with the goalie and their physics. I think they kind of sacrificed, in a way, the realism a little bit with the collision physics for the sake of having them have all these animations. If you watch someone play net, like when I play ESHL, the legs kind of do some weird stuff against the post, things like that. I get what he's saying with the Hellebuck save. My one kind of redemption thing there is that it is Hellebuck, so it's probably the highest overall goalie, so that makes it a little bit better. Hopefully you're not seeing like a Ursin go and do that really fast blocker save, but you definitely can see, I think it showed even better in just like the normal play speed rather than the slow speed. The goalie 100% like speeds up to an unrealistic speed, even if it's just for a second. You have him going to the top to make the the blocker save up high, and then his blocker kind of flies down low. It doesn't look terrible, but again, in the normal speed, it looked a little unrealistic. I would prefer if they had a more, or I guess like a cap on how fast the goalie can move its body and things like that. I wonder if that would help. Give Hellebuck a really fast low blocker save, and he like kind of flings that thing out like more naturally towards the bottom of the net, if you understand what I'm saying, rather than just having it look like it reaches an unrealistic speed. Hopefully you understood what I meant there. I don't know if I got it across.
Garbage, man. Hang on, let me get it back on the normal speed. Garbage. Garbage.
We also know that the
Spider-Man
community
goalies
has
are still
been
there.
wanting a more impactful approach to X Factors, so we've crafted an arsenal.
Well, when they introduced the X Factors in 22, they've changed it every year. Remember the year Heat Seeker was great? Then it was Close Quarters. One-timer's always been there. Wheels, they don't even let you use. And Wheels is in this game. Are we going to be able to use it in ESHL?
With the X Factors, again, I think this is kind of a game thing in general. With like any game, you're going to have your balancing issues. In this game, it just so happens to be the X Factors. Balancing is a really hard thing. People want different things from different X Factors, and it's just hard to make everyone happy. I think it's pretty hard, or basically impossible, to avoid there being meta X Factors or bad X Factors. Like, speed in hockey just matters, so if you're going to have an X Factor that even touches speed a little bit, it's probably going to be one of the best X Factors. So what do? Do you just get rid of those really good ones? I don't know. That's what they've done in some of the online modes. I think it's a lot more complicated than he makes it seem. The fact that they keep touching it just shows how difficult it can be. And I think as long as they have X Factors in the game, they're constantly going to be tinkering with it. And I don't know if they ever settle they get to a point where they're happy with it. It's constantly going to change based off of the other changes they make to the game each year. So that's just kind of my take on
Refined
that.
X Factors, get out of here. So in other words, every other year they weren't refined and they were shit. Ooh, one-handed big rig. Was that a one-handed backhander? Okay, so Big Rig just got an upgrade.
That's actually something I was kind of curious about that I didn't notice the first time around, is that one-handed shot, which I think is really cool. I wonder if it is only attached to Big Rig. I don't know. Or maybe it gets a little bit of buff, but I think that's kind of fun.
You can shoot. Okay, that's good.
I think it's fun when they do little things like that.
Gameplay with new, distinct
pick.
gameplay animations.
Oh, look at Barkov go,
elements.
whacking that
The goal
saucer out of
with
midair.
system is
Interesting.
to create more meaningful gameplay effects for each X Factor and ensure
Check.
they bring genuine strategic differences to each game. So when
Genuine
Evan
strategic
Bouchard
differences.
fires off his Rocket X Factor, it's
Oh, that's such an EA Sports goal if I've ever seen it. Evan Bouchard would have turned that freaking puck over. That would have been a freaking pizza, man. First period, 20 seconds in. Whoever was getting this clip is like, I'm just going to work, man. Toe drag, and you notice what I said again, right? The AI, not a stick check, not a poke check, stick lift, nothing. They just go for body checks, but if it's on rookie, which this is probably it, they just stand there. Stands.
One thing I'll say here again, I'm not like trying to defend EA. I don't give a crap, bro. I'll shit on them all day. But as far as I know about this player in process sale, I'm pretty sure he is a bit more of a hitter. Just to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there, it would be more realistic for him to go for a little hit here, I think. Maybe a Calgary fan can tell me otherwise. Again, with Bouchard, I get what he's saying with the whole pizza thing. This is such a Bouchard thing just to turn it over there and have, you know, the Calgary player go the other way. But at the same time, he is a really good offensive player, and he's going to have higher hands and be able to pull off a deke like this and do a move like this. But it would be kind of funny to see him like turn these over like every once in a while and just leads to a goal the other way.
Right there, misses. And then instead of a wrist shot, I'm just going to load up, babe. So bad. It looks so bad. It looks so bad. That backhander? Where? Hang on a second. Was it beauty backhand? Where was that? It was. Look at the freaking distance and the angle. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna shut my mouth. If there's one person in the world who could do that, it was Crosby, and it's probably Samuel Larson.
I'm glad he gave a little bit of the benefit of doubt there. Like, yes, it's Crosby's backhand. Shot like that shouldn't be going in. Like, I would go as far to say even like 49 out of 50 times that's not going to go in or shouldn't go in. You definitely don't see that very much in the NHL. But again, Urson, lower overall goalie, and then you know, we got Crosby with beauty backhand and a high overall player. So it's not the craziest thing.
All right, fine. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Incredible
Holy
updates
crap,
to gel
man.
this year. I'm excited.
Hey,
for you
Connor
to get in the
Bedard.
game, get on the ice and feel that superstar impact.
Whoa, look at Kyle Connor. He looks terrible, man. The beard and the hair are different. I'm really nitpicking now. I don't care about that. I care about
NHL
gameplay.
26 is available for pre-order now.
Pre-order now. So there it is, man. Pre-order. Are we doing this again? All right, hang on. Pre-order. We're at pre-order now. Xbox Deluxe Edition. I do like the cover. All three Kachucks on there. That is pretty clean. I will say that. And are we up to $129.99? Oh, it's on sale. How is a game that's not even out yet on sale? $116.99.
You know, I actually don't even know about this sale. I don't even know what's going on there. I think they've done this before, I want to say, where if you pre-order it earlier, you do get a slight discount. But as far as I know, the main discount was just for having EA Play. So I don't even know about this. When I went out to like Best Buy or wherever I went, I didn't see a sale. So I guess this is just for the online stores.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I didn't see anything. The goalie animations, that seems like it's going to be new. But introducing the NHL Edge, all those stats, I don't see how that's going to change the game at all, right?
See, that's a take I have a harder time with, him saying that he doesn't see how it's going to affect it at all. Like, if you just hopped on the game, you're not going to notice the difference. I would say it like kind of like that. But if you really like look out for it and you're paying attention to if you know, like if you have puck knowledge, ball knowledge, whatever you want to call it, you take a slap shot with, let's just say, who's the guy who can hit it hard. Like, I know Patterson hit 100 or over 100 miles per hour at one of the skills competition. I go take a slapper with Patterson and it rips off his stick versus me going and taking a slap shot with Henry Yokoharu. I don't freaking know. I just pulled a name out of my ass and it being a lot slower. If you know your stuff, you're going to notice that and be like, oh, that's cool. That's cool that's more accurate. I find it very cool that a lot of these stats are more accurate. Hopefully it makes players like, you know, McDavid better with his speed. It makes guys with harder shots you know, stick out even more. And I think it's going to do so in the gameplay. So again, I don't quite agree with that
I
take.
know for a fact Ovi sitting
But
up
I
there
do
at the
kind
power
of
play. That
understand what
ain't
he's
going to work.
saying.
So from what I can take, it was the goalie animations and some new X factors, right? The Barkov one where he was picking it out of the air. Are we going to be able to use wheels and all that? You know what, ladies and gentlemen? We'll just wait till the game comes out. I was not, no, it's not going to be a good game. I was not convinced at all. All right, so there it is. It's not going to be a lot of NHL content this year, probably. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go play a good hockey video game. Puck, you can find it on Steam. It's free to play if you...
I love how much he loves Puck. Puck is pretty fun. I hope he brings attention to this game. But I don't totally disagree with him. If I had to sum up what does 26 seem to bring to the table, again, the ice queue, the tracking stats, it's going to be more accurate. Is it something that you're necessarily going to feel if you're kind of a casual? I would say not really. The goalie animations, you definitely see it. I think you're going to also feel it in the gameplay, whether that's good or bad. The goalie's going to play different. So, you know, it's such a split thing on the goalies too. There's I see people all the time talk about, oh, goalies are too hard and it frustrates them. Maybe more of the casual fan base, you know, maybe you could say, oh, those are the guys who actually go to a job, things like that. I'm not going to disagree with you. But then you have guys who say the goalies aren't good enough. And it's like, I go and I play Superstar and it's frustrating because offline modes just aren't really that fun for me. The only fun I have in offline mode is when I create a team in franchise mode and I just get to, you know, play with them a little bit. But when I play Superstar, I can pretty much win every single game. I'm very, very rarely going to lose a game unless I'm just like completely sleeping. I could win them 10-0. This isn't like a flex. I'm just saying it's annoying. It's frustrating. I wish I could play an offline mode and be genuinely challenged, right? In terms of the AI in that way, do I think the AI is going to get better to the point where, yeah, Superstar is going to be challenging now for me? I don't think so. I didn't see that. Besides that, the goalies, the new X Factor system, I think that's cool. I don't mind it. I don't think it's a game changer. It's kind of a small thing. The net physics is ass. It looks completely like ass. I don't even know why they included it. Like, I swear they might have reworked it. They might have done something to the net physics and they're like, oh yeah, add that into the trailer, but they didn't actually look to see if it was good because it just did not look good. But yeah, that's about it. The tendencies, it's kind of going to be an interesting thing to see. Again, I don't think if you're a casual, you're really going to feel it. I think it's more of a thing that like someone who knows their stuff is going to be like, oh, cool, Ovi's in his spot, you know, taking his shot, or Drysal's in his shot, it's his spot, taking his shot. But we'll have to see how well it's implemented. But yeah, if that's all it is, which I think it is, if that doesn't sound good to you, I think that's fair. I think it is. If you don't like it, I think with me, I have more tempered expectations going from year to year. And I'm like, this seems like a step up, which I'm happy with, just as long as we're not taking any steps down. Hello, cat. But yeah, let me know what you think of Johnny Superman's takes. Let me know what you think of my takes. Do you think we should be more skeptical? Do you think that maybe he was a little bit too skeptical? Like, I kind of think he was at points with just talking about the AI and kind of the conspiracy there in a little bit. But no, I completely get where he's coming from. I would say have low expectations. Don't pre-order the game unless you like play it every year, no matter how good it is. If you're banking on it being a lot better than the last game and you're pre-ordering it, I think you're going to be disappointed. Yeah, just hold out if you can. Only reason I'm going to be pre-ordering it or buying it is because I plan to make content on it, good or bad. So if you're not in that boat, I would say hold off. So yeah, like, subscribe if you liked the video. Until next time, take care of yourselves.